I've just spent way too many late nights alone, glued to regular show, only to find myself going more and more frustrated with Mordecai.
Wow, sounds like your life sucks.
Maybe so. But I just couldn't shake the feeling that there's more to this Blue Jays so-called chill vibe. I had to dig deeper and uncover exactly why Mordecai really ruffles my feathers in the following episodes.
Mordecai, I hate you!
Speaking of punching, things kick off with Season 1's Death Punchies. Mordecai and Rigby prepare to play their new game, Dig Champs. Sounds innocent enough, right? But trouble starts brewing when these two can't agree on who gets to be player one.
I wanted to be player one. I want to be player two.
Mordecai suggests a game of punchies.
Let's play punchies to see who gets to be player one.
Fine.
Surprise, surprise, he wipes the floor with poor Rigby. I can totally relate to why he goes into full meltdown mode. I think it's pretty awful that Mordecai always gets his way just because he's stronger than Rigby. It's almost like Mordecai's just waiting for the chance to flex his muscles as poor Rigby spirals into an existential crisis about being weak. We've all witnessed how our favorite raccoon ain't no Hulk. Mordecai, far from being a solid homie, mocks Rigby's athletic shortcomings.
Dude, you don't beat anybody at punchies.
He even goes too far and brings up that time Skips permanently scarred Rigby in the butt.
Quick, doctor, both of these butt cheeks are unrecognizable.
Stop talking!
Ouch, man. The infamous one-cheek wonder. I kind of have a deep burning hatred for how Mordecai, being the absolute worst, gets a muscle man involved in this mean-spirited mocking of his so-called BFF.
I hope he's not trying to play.
Don't look at them!
Hurt, Rigby storms off, determined to find some martial arts glory. He throws a well-deserved tantrum, and what does Mordecai do when his homie's having an emotional breakdown?
You're ruining my life!
Yep, he totally ignores him. Rigby stumbles face first upon an ad for what might be his golden ticket to finally beat Mordecai at punchies. I sure as heck hope so. Our boy deserves a W.
Stupid book. Death Kwon-Do? Yes.
But another surprise. When Rigby gets to the dojo, he's told Death Kwon-Do is for self-defense. The mulleted sensei in jorts doubts that Rigby's pure of heart, and, well, he's kinda right.
That's a good beginner's move. Or the pelvic thrust of death.
The death punch.
That is not for beginners.
But resourceful Rigby nabs the Death Punch of Death training page from the instructor's notebook. Fast forward, and we're deep in the middle of a classic 80s movie montage. Rigby's now rocking a mullet and a pair of jorts as he masters the Death Punch of death. He then starts dishing out some serious smackdowns, wreaks havoc on poor Muscle Man, and high five goes. Dude even rocks sweet old kind pops. When is someone gonna call HR? I'm getting really worried. Meanwhile, Mordecai, the dude who got us all into this mess, is completely oblivious to the mess. But when he finally realizes Rigby's gone full-on rage mode at the park, he decides he also needs to get in on some of that Death Kwon-Do action.
So you think you're gonna beat me at punchies? I know your little secret.
Rigby's perched like a king on the roof, with the gang tending to him like faithful servants. They all bear the scars from Rigby's little death punch of death. And while I love a good revenge arc, I'm not the biggest fan of Rigby bullying his pal. He commands them to scout for Mordecai, who suddenly appears. His mullet and jorts are a clear sign that he's knowledgeable in the ways of Death Kwon-Do.
Looks like you learned the ways of Death Kwon-Do.
Cue the showdown! It's time for Rigby to face off against him, and I'm more pumped than a kid in a candy store. He charges, goes for the kill, death, punch of death. But wait, oh, plot twist!
How come you're not dead?
I learned the death block.
Mordecai reveals he's learned the death block. The boys fully clash. Rigby keeps death punching and Mordecai keeps death blocking, causing a massive crater to form. Things are pretty heated, like lava spewing from the ground heated. But I mean, how are they not getting fired for this?
We gotta get out of here.
Eventually, as more lava creeps up, Mordecai soon realizes that they need to bail, and fast.
We're gonna die.
I don't care!
At long last, Mordecai has a light bulb moment and realizes that maybe, just maybe, he's been a bit of a jerk to his buddy all this time. So he fakes a fall, just as Rigby realizes he's about to meet his sweet own fiery doom. But no worries, because Mordecai's got a trick up his wing.
Now how do you want to get out of here?
Better go with the death jump.
After all the DeathQuan drama, they finally settle down to play Dig Champs again, and I move on to another episode that makes it hard for me to have Mordecai's back. Season 6's 6th episode, Lift With Your Back. In true BFF form, Rigby's been covering for Mordecai as he spends his time with his new girlfriend, CJ.
Hey, can you cover for me so we can go hang out?
Sure, man.
Hey, sorry, but...
Yeah, I got it.
It's happening so often that dark clouds are starting to brew over their friendship. Things take a stormy turn at the park staff meeting when everyone takes a jab at Rigby for being just fucking useless. Rigby, who I'll vouch for has been anything but, especially to Mordecai, looks to his friend to, cover him.
Mordecai, you'd be totally useless.
What? Come on, Mordecai, tell him how useful I am.
I mean, you're fun.
What? No, tell him I'm useful.
What indeed? I mean the nerve of this guy!
Why aren't you saying the word useful?
I mean, there was the time with the chairs, the limousine. You're basically the opposite of useful pretty much anytime we do anything.
To his face! After everything! Dude, I'm literally chewing on my monitor! And then he has the gall to say this!
So the whole time I've been covering for you and CJ?
I mean, it's the least you could do.
The least I quit.
Feeling betrayed and fed up, Rigby dramatically quits his job, claiming he can earn a paycheck anywhere. And you can. Slay.
Police!
Unfortunately, the haters are kind of proven right, and the only job he can land is at the Lift With Your Back moving company. Yep, that's right. Their entire business model revolves around lifting heavy packages using only your back muscles. Because who needs proper lifting techniques, right? I know I didn't.
Whoa there, Newbeck. What do you think you're doing? You gotta lift with your back. We're called Lift With Your Back for a reason.
Fast forward to an exhausted Rigby coming home with bumps on his back, proving to Mordecai he wasn't bluffing about getting another gig. Mordecai, in all his self-centered, oblivious glory, doesn't seem to care, and asks Rigby to cover for him again for CJ's half-birthday party.
Are you serious?
Yeah, come on, man. Can't I just have this?
No, you have things all the time.
How are you not wrecked by his audacity at this point? I feel like Mordecai's living in a sitcom while Rigby's stuck on a sad reality show.
Jeez, is that what this is about? You not liking CJ?
No, CJ is cool, but I help you all the time with her, and I helped you get with and over Margaret, and you never even thanked me.
Of course I did.
I'm sure you did, bud. Rigby's uphill battle, on the other hand, is about to get steeper.
As you know, room and board is for employees, and we kind of need the space for this old dot matrix printer.
Clearly hurt, Rigby brags about how he'll be staying at a 4-star hotel with a pool. I'm gutted when we cut to him living in the back of a company van parked outside said hotel. Cue and music montage backed by hard rock as 4 hard days of hard labor go by. Finally, it's time for Rigby to get his back pay. But guess what? There's a catch.
Hey, what gives?
Tell him, Murray.
It's kind of company tradition that on your first paycheck, you gotta move a full truck by yourself.
So he has to empty a full truck by himself before he gets his first paycheck. What the? My guy just can't catch a break! Enter Mordecai and Eileen. Mordecai tries to help Rigby, still feeling betrayed, points out all the times he's helped Mordecai, getting him a girlfriend, borrowing a time machine, returning that sweater to Margaret. He kind of states the obvious and says,
All you do is use me, man.
But I never asked you to do those things.
Of course you didn't. I helped because you're my friend.
I honestly can't believe how Mordecai tries to play it off, but Rigby still is determined. Unfortunately, things seem bleak when bro has to lift a giant box of cast iron sand. Yeah, you heard that right.
Rigby, enough of this! I know you're useful! Get that paycheck!
He gets a 6-pack on his frickin' back. My millennial butt's still seeing firsthand how back-breaking labor can lead to a swole physique. Who knew? Not me. After this epic struggle, he decides to quit the job and return to the park. Of course, Manny is left there, staring into the abyss, giving us one last back pun.
I'm going back to my real job.
You'll be back.
I love me a good pun. Mordecai and Eileen congratulate Rigby for making it, and Mordecai has a light bulb moment again.
But seriously, dude, I was taking you for granted. Thanks for helping me all the time.
This is kind of a big step for my Blue Jay buddy. Rigby's arms are still shaking as he weakly tries to rub his paycheck in Mordecai's face. I sure hope he's finally learned his lesson. Nope, he didn't. But speaking of lessons, this next episode, Rigby's graduation day special, is when I got to witness Mordecai's self-centeredness at its peak. He almost ruins what should be his boy Rigby's first big moment in the spotlight, the time he graduated high school. What makes this whole thing worse is the fact that I know know Mordecai has no problem making fun of Rigby for not having a high school diploma.
Definitely smarter than you. It's been that way ever since you dropped out of high school.
The episode kicks off with an air of whimsy and joy across the park. I feel like a proud parent when I see all these good vibes because of my main man, Rigby.
Graduating tomorrow. You ready for my grad party, dude?
Of course.
Cool, man.
Mordecai, on the other hand, doesn't seem super excited at all. As Rigby prepares for his graduation party, Principal Dean calls him over to deliver some big news. My boy's been chosen for an inspirational segment on Inspire America, a show about, ding ding ding, you guessed it, inspirational Americans. Rigby should be stoked, but the pressure clearly has got my guy sweating bullets.
If you screw this up for me, I'm gonna eat your diploma. Ha! I'm just pulling your chain. Actually, no. Yeah, I will eat it.
Bruh, you're not helping.
Rigby's terrified he won't live up to the high inspirational bar set by the show. Eileen tries to lift his spirits, but Rigby's picked up some mic skills while he was finishing high school.
The greatest mistake a man can make is to search for flowers among the weeds, overlooking the fact that oftentimes the very weeds are flowers.
Wow.
Inspiring? You betcha! But that's not what he's prepared for his speech. He shows the gang a more Rigby performance. Back at the park while everyone's scrambling around preparing for Rigby's after party, Mordecai's cool indifference is more than mildly infuriating.
Jerry, I mean, graduating from high school is like the least a person can accomplish. But it's a big deal for Rigby.
He's your best friend, dude.
Fine.
Newsflash, my blue dude. It's Rigby's big day. This guy... My peeve meter has never been this high. Rigby calls Mordecai, who's reluctantly driving to get his so-called best friend's favorite drink, coffeini, for the celebration. He's desperate for speech advice, but Mordecai just brushes him off.
What do I do?
I don't know. You're so smart now. Why don't you go listen to a sad song and figure it out?
Whoa, what?
Really, bro? That's your idea of support? Rigby makes his grand entrance riding on a Segway in a banana suit because it's frackin' Rigby. But things take a bad turn when disaster strikes.
Oh no!
As promised, Principal Dean cuts into his diploma with a knife and fork. But thank the stars, this entire nightmare is just that, a nightmare. I couldn't tell you how relieved I was when he woke up, bro. His night sweats are the only thing that's off, though. Mordecai is nowhere to be found.
How are you still not here?
Rigby, I just have stuff to do, okay?
Aren't you done doing your stuff?
No,
The tension rises as they argue over the phone until Mordecai drops the ultimate bombshell.
I'm not doing anything for you.
Well, dang. Yeah, this is where I lost all respect for him, quite frankly. Finally, the real graduation day arrives. Everyone waits in excitement and agitation as Rigby makes his big entrance.
Prepare to get Rigby to America! Ta-da!
Okay, Rigby, everyone.
Sweating like something that sweats a lot, Rigby stumbles. I couldn't think of anything better. Cut me some slack. Sweating like your mom last night, Rigby stumbles and kind of stutters through his speech very awkwardly. But hold on. Mordecai, who's in earshot and hiding in the car park, hears this. My heart sinks when Rigby runs off stage and lies in the fetal position, whimpering in shame backstage. We've all been there.
Is that a Caffini? But those are out of season.
I went all the way to the outlet, just for you, bro.
Mordecai finally comes back to his senses and confesses that he's always liked being a little better than Rigby. I know, we all know. Very messed up, but they make peace and Rigby gathers himself. With the coffeini in hand, Rigby finds his groove and delivers an inspiring speech, wrapping it up with this gem.
I may not be the man I used to be, but unexpectedly, I could still do the fun stuff he did. I've come a long, long way, and in the end, I still get to be me, but better.
Classic Rigby. But can we really forgive Mordecai for the emotional roller coaster he put this dude through? And more importantly, me through? All because of his jealousy. Like, dude, honestly, they should have made this dude green. Why? I don't know, I hate green. Which reminds me, it's about time we talk about Season 2's It's Time. The episode that had me questioning Mordecai's loyalty to Rigby, actually, very seriously, a lot. His treacherous antics in this one especially have me irreversibly shook. The calm before the storm, Mordecai and Rigby are at the coffee shop where they're drooling over the trailer for a new gore flick zombie dinner party.
Zombie dinner party.
Rigby, being the ever-trusty bro, got them.
2 tickets for opening night.
But Mordecai, true to form, declines Rigby's invite. He's bought 2 tickets for Chick Flick Pajama Sisters 2 on the same night. Not for him and his homie, though.
I got these tickets for me and Margaret. I'm finally gonna try and ask her out.
Well, let's see how that goes. Am I the only one who's just about had it with this guy's BS? That was a rhetorical question. I know I'm not.
Hey, Margaret, I was wondering, would you, like to,
Yikes, man. Rigby being being Rigby melts this very awkward tension with a lighthearted jab at his friend's loss for words.
You're gonna have to excuse Mordecai here. He has a hard time trying to espresso himself.
Good one, Rigby.
Margaret eventually tells the guy she's moving apartments, and Mordecai offers to help her, but I can't help but feel that there's another motive at play here. Our doubts are confirmed when Rigby also offers to help her, leaving Mordecai very obviously annoyed.
Do you guys mind coming by my place in an hour?
We don't mind. It'll be a moving experience for all of us.
Rigby.
Ah, what?
Nothing.
It's clear as day that Mordecai's sad and relentless simping over Margaret makes it hard for him to connect with her like a normal person. Meanwhile, Rigby's got that natural charm because he kind of treats her like, you know, an actual human being, resulting in more Riz by default, if you will.
Wait a minute. You're jealous.
No, I'm not.
Dude, you're just jealous because I made her laugh and all you do is sit like this.
Now we're outside Margaret's apartment where the trio loads boxes into the moving truck. I recoil as I'm treated to some of the cringe that is Mordecai fumbling.
Hey, Margaret, I've been meaning to ask you, do you want to, have me pick up that box?
Oh, yeah, thanks.
He again stumbles over his chance to mention those Pajama Sisters 2 tickets while Rigby playfully taunts him about not being able to ask Margaret out.
I can talk to chicks and you can't. You gonna ask her out or what?
And just when I think there's only so much I can physically handle, I witness this sad display of Mordecai's game.
Margaret, just wanted to ask you if you want to, I mean, obviously you don't have to, but...
Margaret, wanna see something cool?
Rigby cuts in, sparing both me and Margaret from this shameful display. He invites her to see Zombie Dinner Party instead. Like a famished zombie, she bites, sending Mordecai into the shadow realm. Not literally, I feel like I have to make that point clear when discussing the show. But yeah, he's jealous. Oh, he's very jealous. All of a sudden, now he wants to go with Rigby to the movie. Rigby offers to cancel his date with Margaret and give him one more chance on a singular condition.
I'll give you another chance if you admit that you're jealous.
I'm not jealous.
Then I guess I'm still going out with Margaret.
Back at the house, Rigby's relentless teasing and counting down to his date with Mordecai's crush is slowly starting to get to my blue-feathered friend in asterisks.
Pajama Sisters 2 is bombing, but it's doing better than you did with Margaret. Oh, 3 hours till my date. 2 more hours till my date.
They're playing video games, and for some unholy reason, Rigby's back to being player 2. But I can't say I'm not relieved to see his mocking eventually push Mordecai to the brink.
Ooh, yeah, Margaret. Oh! Only 1 more hour till my date, and that's exactly how it's gonna go down.
When Rigby realizes his watch and perhaps his date has been sabotaged...
What did you do with my battery?
It could be 20 minutes till your date. Maybe you already missed it.
I'll find out what time it is.
Chaos erupts as Rigby searches for every clock in the house. And I cannot put into words how much I resent Mordecai using his height advantage to grab them and hide them. I am not that tall either. Eventually, they reach the last clock, the microwave. So instead of just admitting to his friend that he's just a little bitty jealous, he opts to place all the timepieces he's been snatching with his long, lying arms into the frackin' microwave. Dude, what? Then he switches the dang thing off.
Give me back those clocks.
No!
I don't know what I expected, but boom! An electrical surge zaps them into a time warp. They cling onto the microwave as their argument escalates.
Why do you have to be jealous all the time?
Shut up!
Rigby's the kind of guy to always pick bros over, you know.
I just wanted to see Zombie Dinner Party with my bro!
This somehow pushes Mordecai over the edge if he wasn't already. His rage leading him to a shocking moment where he pushes Rigby off the microwave. I can't believe I'm actually saying this, but the dude was Rigby.
Oh, yeah! Rigby! That's not what I meant!
What did you mean to do, huh? This turn of events leaves me shaking, vomiting, weeping, crying. Every bad thing, really. Despite the debate this scene causes, I know what I saw. Plus, I clearly heard him say, although he regrets his actions immediately, he still killed the dude. After stumbling around in the ether, he meets Father Time, who greets him with some much-deserved shade.
It's you.
Who are you?
I am Father Time. You're the one who's been running around microwaving all my clocks.
The cosmic clock creature gives Mordecai a long overdue reality check about his jealousy, telling him it's time to confront those emotions. Father Time lays it out with the truth hole, showing Mordecai the error of his jelly ways. I mean, it's a bit sus that it takes murdering his best friend and landing up in purgatory for eternity for Mordecai to see the light. But I mean, hey, luckily for him, Father Time's less petty than me. He gives him a second chance and tells him to get on the time pony. Time pony? Time pony.
It's right next to you. There you go. Now, get out of my dimension.
This undeserving fricker rides the time pony back to the start, determined to change his ways. And excuse my abhorrent language, but I'm pretty pissed off! Back in the real world, I am more than elated Rigby's alive and well, but that does not excuse Mordecai's behavior. Rigby invites Mordecai to zombie dinner party yet again.
Want to go with me?
Yes, I do.
Ah, look who's learned their lesson. He tries to joke with Margaret, but falls flat, of course. Risen Rigby swoops in with a punchline.
You got a latte on your plate?
He has a hard time trying to espresso himself.
Good one, Rigby.
I'm freaking out when Mordecai tries to lie through his insecure little beak.
You're jealous!
Well, maybe just a little bit.
Just a little bit, Mordecai! A little bit! Season 3's finale, Bad Kiss, is yet another episode where I witness Mordecai's simp tendencies lead him down a path I wouldn't even go with a death sandwich.
Death sandwich, death sandwich. If you don't eat it right, you're gonna die tonight. It's the death sandwich.
After watching a movie with Rigby, Margaret, and Eileen, my little blue-feathered reprobate invites everyone for a nightcap.
Who's down for some of my mortar shakes?
Yeah, okay,
Alright,
sounds
sure.
When
good.
the gang arrives, I can't say I don't absolutely love this spicy bit of foreshadowing.
You're really gonna load up on desserts after that chili dog incident?
Ugh, don't remind me.
As they enter the house, Mordecai realizes he's left his wallet in Margaret's car. Classic move. He rushes back to find it, and Margaret shows up for a few to help. As they search the car, their eyes meet as we hear a suave bass line that could only mean one thing. What do you know? Our guy finally gets the kiss. But here's the oof factor. Margaret pushes him away.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's fine. It's just your breath is really bad.
Ha! Guess the rogue chill dog afterclap just ain't it for the ladies. Extremely embarrassed, Mordecai grabs Rigby and runs inside. He tells him what happened with Margaret, and Rigby, ever the wise wizard, says,
You gotta pack a mint, bro.
Enter the time machine, a contraption Rigby scored for a cool $15 despite Mordecai's doubts. Well, look who's laughing now.
Dude, you're gonna break it.
And it actually works. They hop through time to stop Mordecai's glizzy breath from ruining his shot with Margaret, but shocker, they quickly realize that past Mordecai is, well, Mordecai.
Dude, you want some mints?
What? No, dude. Dude, quit it.
I watch in pure anger as the duo desperately tried to prevent him from eating anything that'll sabotage his breath.
Let me get a sloppy Dan dog with extra onions.
One sloppy Dan with... What the...
Yeah, that was the chili dog incident. But past Mordecai is not just kind of gross, he's also set on disaster.
Oh, what's wrong with me?
Can't believe Margaret let you kiss her.
I mean, this dude is just completely clueless in the ways of basic dental hygiene.
Yeah, that's what the ladies like.
I see that the boys are forced to take more extreme measures.
Open your mouth!
It's for your own good!
The guys eventually give him the lowdown on the Margaret sitch.
Okay, look, we finally kissed Margaret tonight. We had bad breath and she pushed us away. Rigby and I have been traveling back in time trying to fix it.
But my boy, true to bad form, refuses to listen to his future self or learn from his mistakes. It's almost like he's completely oblivious to his own cringe ways.
I haven't kissed Margaret yet. Just because you messed up doesn't mean I'm gonna.
He steals the time machine to leap forward and kiss Margaret anyway. You're so frackin' stupid. But all is not lost. Rigby uses the first time machine to go back and buy a second time machine.
I went back and bought a second time machine.
You're a genius!
Ain't that the truth? A chase through time ensues as they try to track him down with the other time machine. Together they attempt to outsmart him as Mordecai's past self has only one thing keeping his simp heart beating.
You can't keep me from kissing Margaret. It's not like you'll ever figure out I kissed her in the car at 11:55.
I must admit, I'm pretty impressed when President Mordecai manages to trick our Casanova and sends him back to the time of the kiss.
Hey! Sorry, man, but you ain't getting my kiss tonight.
Wow, bro, betraying your friend is one thing, but your own dang self? Frackin' stunning. Rigby shows up and drags Mordecai past to the present, and they finally break the time machines. This resets everything, leaving Mordecai back in the car with Margaret, and he manages to redeem himself this time around.
Oh, found it.
Oh, great.
Disaster averted. I find it insane that it took breaking the laws of physics, but in the end, Mordecai ends up empty-handed, getting no kiss from Margaret, but preventing his stinky Glizzard kiss. Speaking of stinky, Do or Diaper is another episode where Mordecai's whack swag with the ladies lead him into setting up a house on Cringe Lane in the town of Cringeville in the state of Cringefornia. Rigby, Muscle Man, Starla, Margaret, and my blue simp lord arrive at the boys' after a pizza date. Margaret and Mordecai trail behind and chat on the porch while the others run upstairs to spy on them. They witness this.
Here it comes.
Actual physical pain! Mordecai gets back inside and his friends confront him about his inability to make a move and kiss Margaret. I, for one, know he's been thirsting over her for literal years now. So Muscle Man comes up with a plan to help motivate him.
Okay, if you kiss Margaret by midnight, I'll wear a diaper.
The flip side of this is, if Mordecai fails to make his move, then he'll be wearing the diaper.
This is probably the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
I hate to say it, but he's got a good point there. Anyway, the deal is sealed, and our boy has until Friday midnight to work his magic. At the coffee shop, Rigby and Mordecai have been chilling for an hour, waiting for him to pluck up the courage to ask Margaret out. He eventually manages to clumsily blurt it out, and she says,
I have class. I'm free Friday night, though.
Sounds great.
See you then.
So, date, set, headband, on, music, playing, cut, fresh, let's go! Friday finally arrives, and my bird guy's ready for some sweet smooching.
I've got it covered. Mints, gum, strips.
Okay, maybe a bit too ready. He sets off as Rigby and Muscle Man are secretly trailing him. He and Margaret head to the movies, but instead of a romantic flick, Margaret chooses to watch Bucktooth Bob Goes to Europe. I don't even know what that's supposed to be. I don't know why Mordecai isn't thrilled, because from my experience, a laughing date is a happy date, and happy dates give you all the kisses. Who's gonna tell him that? It ain't gonna be me. Smooth. Looking good, my dude. As the evening rolls on, Mordecai realizes he hasn't made any moves, and there's only 35 minutes left on the clock. Desperate to make a connection, he suggests that they head to the lake to get cozy, which I must admit is an uncharacteristically suave move. But in a classic Mordecai moment, he pulls this rather unhinged play. His mint obsession inadvertently creates a frosty situation, turning the whole area into an ice box, leaving everything literally frozen in cringe. All cause bro can't literally chill. Margaret discovers Rigby and Muscle Man at the lake, and they eventually tell her about the bet.
So you bet, Muscle Man, that you could kiss me? I can't believe you, Mordecai.
Truth be told, neither can I. Rightfully grossed out, she storms off. He chases her, trying to explain himself, and she hits him with this truth bomb about, well, not being a lying piece of poo, man.
How about just trying to be honest with me?
Finally tells her the truth. Like, really? Fuming at how long that took. As the clock nears midnight, we think he just might make it. He puckers up, she gets closer, the suspense is insane.
Have a nice week, diaper boy.
Psych!
I guess if you act like a baby, you gotta dress like one. His antics remind me that it's always best to just be genuine instead of playing games with people. The topic of games brings to mind the episode Yes Dude Yes, where Mordecai toys CJ's actual heart. This is a case study in Mordecai's lack of emotional maturity or just basic human decency. This particular roller coaster of Mordecai's emotions begins with him telling Rigby that he's got 2 tickets to a movie and he wants to ask Margaret to go. I should have said stop me if you've heard this one before, and then I wouldn't have had to say that. He heads to the coffee shop to ask her out, and I feel sorry for him when he sees this.
Yes, dude, yes.
Assuming she's engaged, my boy spirals into a deep, dark depression, moping around his room and drowning in one sad tune, like on repeat. It's very annoying. Rigby and myself, truth be told, is tired of seeing his friend down in the dumps like this.
Couple corral. We're finding partners is a fine howdy do.
That's my Rigby taking some initiative to help his buddy out of this slump. But surprise, Mordecai isn't grateful and wants nothing to do with it. Dude's got 10 girls.
10 girls already responded. Yeehaw! 11!
All of whom are keen to go on dates with him. Rigby finally convinces him to give it a shot and hop in the shower because the boy's got a stench. Mordecai's gloom is so overwhelming that I feel like I'm sitting through like a dozen disastrous dates. Then he meets
Cloudy J.
That's just my screen name. You can just call me CJ.
She's pretty chill and is pretty upfront about asking him what his deal is. Heck, I'd be thrilled to date her. At first, he's honest with her, saying he's just trying to get out of his bummer of a funk. CJ's cool with that. They hang out, go to the arcade, even indulge in some grilled cheese, plain to see that they genuinely enjoy each other's company. out with CJ is undoubtedly making Mordecai feel better. He even invites her to see Lovebot too. But things take a dark turn when he runs into Margaret and her fiance again. Mordecai, being both a simp and a simpleton, runs off and spirals into depression yet again. Cue sad song on repeat. Give me a sec so I can scream into my frickin' pillow!
This is your boss. Open up.
I'm taking a mental health day.
You don't have the right to be sad. You never even had the guts to tell Margaret how you feel.
I'm no narc, but Benson's right. That was real. If Mordecai leaves things as they are, he'll only end up regretting it. So motivated by this pep talk, Mordecai goes to the coffee shop to get some closure. I get very afraid when I see CJ shopping with her girlfriends nearby. She's telling them about how well things are going with Mordecai.
And then he asked me to the movies. It was kind of awkward, but cute, you know?
Oh, great heavens, I know too much. He and Rigby enter the coffee shop. Margaret is finally introduced to Margaret's air quote fiance, who turns out to be her cousin John.
Cousin?
Yeah, he finally got a new leg today.
Check it out.
Not bad, right? No more kneeling on one knee for me anymore.
Mordecai, relieved, asks Margaret to go see Lovebot 2 with him. However, there's one slight problem with that.
Oh, hey, what's up, CJ?
Mordecai, what's going on?
What?
Aren't you taking me to that movie?
What?
Real classy, bro. Mordecai then gives me a display I would not expect from a bird, because you know, birds have spines. Tired of his BS, CJ goes into a fit of rage and transforms into a big gray storm cloud, wreaking havoc in the coffee shop. Mordecai manages to calm her down by actually being real with her. Like, dude, when are you gonna learn?
Can't we still be friends?
No, I just don't think I could be friends with you right now. Goodbye, Mordecai.
Good for her. Margaret arrives post-chaos looking a bit jealous, and Mordecai can't help but notice. Ultimately, he ends up watching Lovebot 2 with Cousin John. Ultimately, Mordecai's emotional games only lead to heartbreak for everyone involved, including the audience. Next up is Season 5's Laundry Woes. Here, not only is Mordecai a bad friend, but he also shows just how much he'll prioritize his crush over his best bud. Like, come on, dude, get your priorities straight. In this episode, Mordecai's heartache over Margaret getting accepted to her dream university spirals him into another downward slump. Instead of feeling sorry for him, I low-key despise him for not being happy for his girl, even a little bit. His friends watch as he wallows in misery, but being solid homies, they still hang out with him despite him being such a downer. I'm glad to see time, slowly but surely, it does do its thing, and he gets better. Well, until this happens while he's doing laundry.
Don't do anything you're gonna regret. Don't do it!
So he just takes this in his stride, acts like a normal person, folds her sweater, and puts it away. Of course not! This is Mordecai I'm talking about. Instead, dude convinces himself that it's a sign from Margaret that she left it for him so that he could go and find her to return it. And Rigby, my North Star at this point, trying to bring some sense into this whole fiasco, tells him to mail it to her.
So you're gonna take this to the post office yourself? Mm-hmm. For real?
Yeah.
Well, Mordecai's not having it. He said on driving 20 hours to deliver a sweater. That's dedication and serious obsession. Also, a serious case of neglecting his friend's good advice. Rigby tries to throw the sweater out of the car to snap Mordecai back to reality, but guess what? The universe has a pretty sick sense of humor.
You boys should really be more careful. I'm glad I got a hold of it before it was too late. Here you go, sir. Take good care of this beauty.
As I watch them hit the road again, I can't help but feel exhausted as Rigby tries to talk sense into him one last time. But it's not happening. 20-hour road trip it is! Yeah, he fell asleep at the wheel. My guy Rigby tries to get Mordecai to see the bigger picture. Sometimes the past is best left in the past. But no, our bluebird buddy is deep in denial. He even says this to poor Rigby.
Well, if you were a real friend, you'd understand.
I am your friend. You'd realize that if you weren't such a sad sack chump.
That's it.
I thought my eyes were fooling me, but no, he literally just threw his best friend out of the car. Almost as insane is how he threw him off that microwave in the time vortex and them. That is a sentence. Also, keep in mind, they're almost 20 hours away from home at this point, so he threw Rigby out of the car 20 hours away from the home. That is serious bad guy behavior. Also insane, like clinically, surely, right? I mean, I'm not a doctor, but like...
Of course.
Huh?
You're just trying to do the right thing. I understand completely.
I knew you would.
So, bro's just straight up hallucinating now? What does all this madness lead to? I'm sure you're wondering, on the edge of your seat. Well, Mordecai nearly plows through a group of students, and he does this to Muscle Man's car. In the end, I'm bitter about Mordecai having a light bulb moment. Again! Is anyone else noticing a trend here?
You were right to try to stop me.
Yeah, I know.
Sorry for kicking you out of the car.
It's okay.
Just another day in the life of Mordecai, proving once more that sometimes it's best to put your bros before your laundry woes. My list of Mordecai woes continues with maxin' and relaxin'. Here his bratty side shines through with a sprinkle of some serious mommy issues. Mordecai and CJ are jamming to some tunes and cruising on the golf cart. He tells CJ about his mad skills in the sacred art of mixtaping.
Me, this song was on a mixtape I made in the 7th grade. Maxin' and relaxin'. I was the master at mixtapes.
CJ's clearly impressed. He ends up mentioning that his old mixtapes are at his parents' house, prompting CJ to suggest a visit to meet the folks. Mordecai instantly panics.
I can meet your parents. I can meet your mom.
My mom?
By now, I kind of know that no good ever comes from Mordecai panicking, or having light bulb moments, or really thinking at all. Back at home, he's telling Rigby about his concerns as he flashes back to a teenage nightmare where his mom totally embarrasses him in front of the girl he liked.
Daphne, thank you.
For what?
For being the first girl Mordecai ever brought over. It's going on the tape. How do you like studying with my son?
Yikes, dude. I hate to admit, but I'm kind of worried with Mordecai on this one. That was high-key awful. Still traumatized, he fears a repeat performance of CJ. He calls his dad to tell him about his plans to visit and his fears about mom. He tries to beg him not to tell his mom about their visit. Cut to the next day, Mordecai and CJ arrive at his parents' house and greet his dad. My awful blue boy's hoping to dodge his mom, but of course, she shows up. I guess it's because she lives there, but also because she changed her schedule to see him. Because she loves him, the ungrateful wretch. Unlike Mordecai, his dad refuses to lie to his lady, proudly stating,
25 years, no lies.
If only someone can learn from this stand-up fella. His mom's pretty stoked to meet CJ and invites the two of them to stay for dinner. Mordecai tries to decline, but his mom has way too much enthusiasm to accept a no. His trip down memory lane is suddenly interrupted.
Mordecai, I need you right now.
I'll see what she wants. What is it, Mom?
Is CJ a vegetarian?
That's what you called me down for?
Wow, what a piece of work this guy is. Honestly, I think his mom's just the best. Mordecai freaks out, especially when she unveils a kind of creepy jelly dessert with CJ's initials on it. It's a tad weird, but it does not warrant this.
Stop! What are you doing?
Oh, sorry.
Good thing she made a spare dessert, a way more cringe jelly portrait of CJ. I think I love her. He tries to get them to leave, but it's too late. It's been 2 hours into dinner, and an oversharing of his embarrassing childhood stories is inevitable. In fact, it's right now. Things start to spiral even more when his mom suggests watching an old home video, prompting a flashback where we see his mom's made a little mixtape of her own. But instead of 90s rap, it's a compilation of little Mordecai's not-so-greatest hits.
Just think a happy thought, and you can fly too.
You remember that tape, Morty?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know, you two should stay for a bit longer. We could watch the tape.
Desperate to escape the torture, Mordecai runs to the basement to destroy the tape, but it slides into the VCR, causing ghosts of his past selves to appear. They tie him to a chair, and I'm hoping that they'll kick him in the shins, but they give him a schooling about how he treats his poor mother. I mean, that works too, I guess.
We put together a little mixtape of our own.
Stop!
Can you just be normal?
He admits that he hasn't been nice to his mom that evening, but how can they forget how she embarrassed them through the years? They remind him that embarrassing moments make us who we are. Besides,
Mom can be really cool. Remember after I got caught in the dive and slide? To make me feel better, she took me out for the biggest Sunday I ever saw.
they remind him of all the times she was there for him, slowly freeing his younger selves. I am, for the zillionth time, faced with Mordecai realizing he's being a complete jerk. He goes back upstairs, the videotape and mixtape in hand, and runs into his mom.
We don't have to watch if you don't wanna. Do I embarrass you?
Mom, you don't embarrass me. Sorry about being a jerk tonight.
My little boy could never be a jerk.
No, I'm not crying. You're crying. They make up just in time to watch the tape together. Our blue friend's finally showing some growth for once. Can't wait for this to be completely, forgotten in the following episode.
This is way cooler than a mixtape.
By the end, Mordecai laughs at his own ridiculousness, making this a rare moment of redemption, even though he's been a man-bird child throughout this entire ordeal. An episode that made me seriously question Mordecai's decision-making skills is Merry Christmas, Mordecai. Ah, Christmas, a time for giving, celebrating, and cheating. In this episode, Mordecai manages to blow absolutely everything for CJ by... Well, let's dive in, shall we? Mordecai, Rigby, and Eileen start the episode like ornaments on a tree, hanging at the coffee shop. Yep. Eileen invites them to a Christmas sweater party. Mordecai's pumped. It's his first Christmas with CJ, and things are looking good. That is until Eileen drops the bombshell.
And the second thing I wanted to tell you is that Margaret is gonna be there.
I've learned enough about Mordecai to know that he'll take this news like an absolute weirdo. He can't handle seeing Margaret and CJ in the same room, so he does what he does best. Freaks out and flees in a panic.
Maybe if I just avoid her, nothing bad will happen.
Or you could just talk to her now.
What?
Yeah, she's on her way over here right now.
I need some air.
Later, the Park Boys are setting up Christmas lights, but Mordecai can't stop daydreaming about the worst possible outcome between him, CJ, and Margaret. It's so bad that this happens.
No!
No, don't move it to the left. Well, it might fall, but okay.
Dude's literally dragging his friends down with him. And just when I thought things couldn't get more stressful, Mordecai gets roped into a last-minute errand to the post office where, you guessed it,
Mordecai?
watching this interaction makes me lose IRL health points. Mordecai can't even manage a normal conversation before, yes, he panics and then flees. Classic. He gets home and tells Rigby about the encounter.
Let me guess. You pulled a Mordecai?
Yeah, I faked a call from Benson, then I ran away from her.
By the time the party rolls around, Mordecai's a total wreck, sweating bullets and acting all kinds of sketchy. He's desperately trying to keep the two women apart. It's a disaster waiting to happen. I can feel it in my sleep-deprived bones. When Margaret finally introduces herself to CJ, Mordecai makes it extremely uncomfortable by reminding them of the bad old days.
You know each other. I mean, you've met before. At the coffee shop when I invited you both to the same movie.
Oh, yeah, that.
Classic Mordecai. In a rare moment of honesty, Mordecai reassures CJ that he's over Margaret and happy with her, which seems to put her at ease. You know what? I almost believe him.
I'm with you. That's all I care about.
That's all I needed to know.
Crisis averted for now. But of course, Mordecai being Mordecai, things don't stay chill for long. After a brief moment of peace, he accidentally runs into Margaret again, freaks out, and causes a chaotic chain reaction.
Whoa!
Mordecai, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
You don't say. They end up talking and reminiscing about the good times they had together. Part of me guiltily roots for them as they got so lost in nostalgia that he does exactly what he promised CJ wouldn't happen.
No.
Oh my gosh.
I didn't mean to do
really
that.
wasn't. I mean,
Mordecai?
And you did it. You done diddly did it. You ruined the holiday spirit for everyone now. CJ literally storms out of the party. Mordecai chases after her in vain and tries to explain, but it's too late. CJ's already gone, driving off and leaving Mordecai to stew in his little bitty mitty mistake. To make things worse, he finds out that
Margaret's my new roommate. She's finishing her degree by working at the news station, and she'll be staying here.
looks like he's not getting rid of this messy love triangle anytime soon. I'm astounded at how Mordecai pulled off the ultimate Christmas party fail. Merry Christmas, you filthy animal. You really nailed it. Last and certainly least in terms of shame is dumped at the altar. Oh, yeah. Come one, come all, as you see a big blue bird reach rock bottom in life. I can see that from the get-go that this episode's not playing any games. Rigby has Mordecai on the hot seat about the havoc brewing in his personal life. They're casually hanging out when Rigby hits him with this conundrum.
I actually haven't even seen her very much. She's had some friends visiting from out of town, so we haven't really had the chance to talk about stuff. It's awkward.
I'm stunned when Mordecai strays from character and gives his friend a straight-up answer, admitting that vibes are indeed kinda off. CJ calls, and despite it being pretty awkies, he says that things are fine. As the day unfolds, our usually cool-headed muscle man is an emotional wreck.
I'm sorry. I didn't think I'd be this emotional, but it's been a wild ride since about 4 in the morning.
Luckily, the park crew has his back. Just as I think Mordecai's keeping it together, is setting up chairs with Rigby, Margaret calls him. It seems Starla is dealing with wedding day jitters by being a total diva.
Where's Eileen with my gas? Be gone!
But you asked me to go get you an iced coffee.
Margaret tries to apologize for a recent double date mishap, but Mordecai brushes it off. You know, instead of facing his emotions, my doubts, they be creeping. At the wedding, his anxiety visibly builds when he greets Margaret just before CJ arrives at the wedding. Now, both his ex and current girlfriend are in the same space yet again.
You know, there's a separate deep fryer for each table.
What?
What? That's not acceptable. I'm gonna need my own.
I hate to be a naysayer, but okay. As the couple enters the wedding venue, CJ mentions that she's been doing some thinking, ready to have a serious conversation. But before she can continue, they're interrupted by wedding prep chaos.
Dude, what's going on?
It's my wedding day, and I don't have a letter.
Muscle Man's freaking out about not having his wedding day letter from his late dad, Muscle Dad. Rigby and Mordecai set off on a mission to find the missing letter. I can't get over how awesome it is that Muscle Dad left it for Muscle Man to open on his wedding day.
Of course he couldn't find that letter. This place is a sty.
Well, he won't get married without it, so just keep looking.
During the search, Rigby asks his friend if he's okay with CJ. Much to my chagrin, Mordecai brushes off. He asks Rigby what he knows about relationships anyway. Then my boy Rigby drops this bombshell.
Eileen and I are dating for like a couple of months now. We have matching bracelets.
Go, Rigby! He tells Mordecai to stop overthinking and start following his gut. Relationships don't have to be so complicated. Sometimes. Mordecai, true to form, remains in denial and brushes off his inner turmoil, because burying your feelings always works out just fine. Right? They find the letter in Muscle Man's trailer, and shoot on back.
As long as you both shall live.
I can't.
At the altar, Mordecai and Rigby save the day by delivering the letter from Muscle Dad. I wish I could say, and they all lived happily ever after, but that's not why we're here, are we? Still feeling pretty emo, Muscle Man makes a bad oopsie and asks Mordecai to read the letter to the crowd.
Okay. To Muscle Son on his wedding day.
Everything starts off smoothly. The letter's filled with encouraging words about trusting your gut, finding your soulmate, starting to think maybe things will be kind of fine. Reading the room isn't Mordecai's strong suit. He interrupts. He interrupts Muscle Man's big moment to do this.
So where's my soulmate? Are they in this room? Maybe it's that really old lady. I don't know.
Why are you talking?
Again, not a narc, but Benson's saying what's on everyone's mind. Well, everyone but selfish, clueless Mordecai. As he rambles on, you can just see CJ's hurt and confusion bubble over until she explodes. She stands up, tears streaming down her face.
You didn't even point in my direction.
CJ!
I need to go take a walk. Give me a second. Okay. What a douchebag, man. His selfish behavior not only ruins what should have been a perfect day for Muscle Man and Starla, but also ends his relationship with CJ in the most public, gut-wrenching way possible. Like, I literally cannot think of a worse way to do that. I'm only brought back to this realm when Muscle Man, clearly fed up with Mordecai's drama, doesn't even miss a beat and happily ties the knot with his bed.
The sooner we finish this, the sooner we can start up these fryers.
Sorry.
Everyone enjoys golden chrome deep fried goodness as Mordecai. Yeah, honestly. Everyone enjoys golden crumb's deep fried goodness as Mordecai's love life crumbles in the background. It's the ultimate act of self-sabotage, and by the end of the episode, even Rigby's like,
did you hear completely lose your mind and try to dump your girlfriend at a wedding?
I told you I'm no good at this stuff.
Ain't that the truth? Maybe some alone time to reflect is exactly what I mean Mordecai needs to rid his soul of his deeply seated darkness. Well, that and some deep fried food.